What is going on, guys? Thanks for checking out this video on my sports Gematria. In this video, I'm going to go over a football game for November 28th, 2024. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm going to show you highlights of each side, and it's going to be up to you to determine who you think will win based on the numbers. I encourage you to add additional information on top of this if needed for you to feel confident in your own pick. And if for some reason you're curious to know who I'm picking in these games, you'll have to join my Patreon. My picks are always in writing, underlined, and italicized. For more information on that, please read the pinned comment in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and get into the game. I wish you guys the best luck on your picks for this game, for this day. Let's go ahead and get to the game. We're going to be looking at, bring it up here. There's going to be 3 football games on Thursday, but we're only going to be focusing on the Thursday night football game like I have been doing this season, the Dolphins versus the Packers. Green Bay is currently a 3.5-point favorite at home. I will be making a pick on the Giants and the Cowboys game, but I don't have the Bears and Lions built out. So I'll be making a pick on the Giants and Cowboys and the Dolphins and Packers, and this video is focused on the Dolphins and Packers. But before we get into these games, let's go ahead and recap last week's. Last week I went 3-2. I think this is the 3rd week in a row I've gone 3-2. Let's just double check. 3-2 last week. The week prior to that, I went 3-2 as well. And then the week prior to that, I went 3-2. So this is and then what's week 9? Week 9 I went 5-0. Okay, so the last 3 weeks, since I went 5-0, the last 3 weeks I've gone 3-2. 3 wins, 2 losses. Specifically in week 12, I did have the Steelers on Thursday Night Football. The Browns won. Sunday, I had the Bears. I was thinking they would get a win ahead of Thanksgiving, but they didn't. Vikings pulled it out in overtime. And then I started to win again. I had Packers over the 49ers, Eagles over the Rams, Ravens over the Chargers. That puts me at 41 wins and 23 losses for the NFL season. Prime time, I'm 24 wins and 12 losses. Thursday night football, I'm 9-3. Sunday night football, I'm 9-3. And then Monday night football, I'm back to even. I'm 6-6. The biggest thing would be to get over that hump and go 7-6, not 6-7. So still doing good, still operating above 60% win ratio. Actually, let me do the math on that. 41 plus 23, that's 64. 41 divided by 64. Yeah, 64%. Let me do that again, just in case. Plus 23, 64, 41 divided by 64. Yeah, so 64% win ratio overall. Prime time, 24 wins, 12 losses. That's 36 total. 24 divided by 36. That's 66. So overall for the season, I'm operating at a 64% win ratio, specifically for prime time games. Thursday night football, Sunday night football, Monday night football. I'm operating at a 66% win ratio. Thursday night football, 9 plus 3, that's 12. So 9 divided by 12. Thursday night football, I'm operating at a 75% win ratio. Sunday night football, I'm operating at a 75% win ratio. And then Monday night football, I'm 6-6. So that's obviously a 50% win ratio. But let's go ahead and get into this week's games on Thursday. I'm going to be going over the Browns, not the Browns, but the Dolphins and the Packers game for Thursday Night Football in this video. But before I do, I want to note and tell you guys that, let me bring up a bigger screen here. For Thanksgiving on Thursday, what would it be? Here we go. Yeah, I had it right. The 28th. So Thursday the 28th. Well, Thursday the 28th is going to be the 57th day of the Hebrew civil calendar. The 57th day of the Hebrew civil calendar. And all 3 of these games have a potential for a team to become 5-7. If the Bears win this game, they could become 5-7, like 57 for a season record with the win on the 57th day of the Hebrew. If Cowboys win, they could become 5-7, like 57. Like it's the 57th day of the Hebrew. If the Dolphins lose, they could become 5-7, like 57. So that's something to kind of watch out for. It is the 57th day of the Hebrew Civil, and in all three of these games, one of the teams can become 5-7 with the win or loss. Now, what is the likelihood of Bears becoming 5-7 with the win over the Lions? It's very unlikely. But if it does happen, if for whatever crazy reason the Bears upset the Lions in the morning time, in the morning game, and become 5-7, you could probably bet that the Cowboys will become 5-7 and the Dolphins will also become 5-7. If the Lions go ahead and win, which I'm kind of thinking they might, I don't have this game built out. They are a 9-point favorite. But if the Lions win and the Bears do not become 5-7, they become 4-8 instead. Well, that means that the Cowboys becoming 5-7 and the Dolphins becoming 5-7 with the win or loss is up in the air. It's not a guarantee. So just something to keep in mind as we head into the Dolphins and Packers game as we talk about that, because I will be talking about that 57. But it does show up 57th day of the Hebrew Civil, 57th day of the Hebrew Civil. With the win, Bears could become 5-7 for the season. Cowboys could become 5-7 for the season with the win, and Dolphins could become 5-7 for the season with the loss. I don't think all three teams are going to go 5-7. Especially it would be crazy if the Bears do become 5-7. I think the rest of the teams will, but if the Bears don't become 5-7, it could be a hit or miss with the other two games. But I just wanted to say that before getting into Thursday night football. Let's go ahead and get into Thursday night football. The Dolphins versus the Packers. Okay, so I always start off with the home team first, but before that, on this side of the screen, this is what I call my daily numbers, date numerology, Gregorian Hebrew calendar. And then on this side of the screen is what I call my game numbers, numbers specific to the game. The way that I have it structured here is that I have the distance to the upcoming Super Bowl up top. I have the location of the game, the city, state, stadium coordinates. I keep track of home team win-loss records. So for this specific game, this is going to be the 182nd all-time game for the regular season, 182nd game for the NFL season, for this season in particular. Right here is the head-to-head matchup between the two teams. And then this is the home team right here, their season record, their quarterback record, their coach's record, their name Gematria to and from their birthday. Then at the bottom is the road team, their season record, their coach's record, their quarterback record, their name Gematria to and from their birthday. So let's go ahead and get started on this game. I always like to start with the home team, and then I'll go over numbers for the road team. So starting with the home team, the Packers. What are some numbers here for the Packers to win this game? Well, like I already kind of briefly said, in the beginning, this will be a day. This will be the 57th day of the Hebrew civil side of the calendar. And all three of these games have a potential where a team could become 5-7 with a win and or a loss. Do I think all three of them gonna hit? You know, it's tough to say, especially since the Bears would have to win over the Lions to become 5-7. That's a really tough thing to say. I did take the Bears on Sunday, thinking they would beat the Vikings and then lose to Lions on Thanksgiving, but that didn't happen. The Bears lost in overtime, and I don't feel like they would win here either. Why would they win against the Lions in Detroit? Um, so it's tough to say. But with it being the 57th day of the Hebrew Civil, the Dolphins they could become 5-7 for a season record with the loss. Okay, Dolphins quarterback. It will be the 272nd day of his current age. 272nd day of his current age. Today is the 27th day of the second month for the Hebrew Civil, like 272. So on the 272nd day of Dolphins quarterback's age, the 27th day of the second month for the Hebrew Civil, the 57th day of the Hebrew Civil year, the Dolphins could become 5-7 for a record with a loss for the season. Um, it will be the 333rd day of the Gregorian, a day leaving 33 left in the Gregorian year. And the Packers quarterback, he can get his 16th win for his career, regular season. And 16, if you write it out, does sum to 33. It being the 333rd day, a day leaving 33 left Packers quarterback can get a 16th win, 16 written out, does some to 33. What else? What else? It will be a day with 20 date numerology on the Gregorian. If you write out 20, it sums to 107. And the Packers could become 7-10 head to head against the Dolphins regular season with the win, which is just a 10 and a 7 or 107. So on a day with 20 date numerology, 20 sums to 107. Dolphins can fall 10-7 head to head against the Packers with a loss, or Packers could become 7-10 head to head with a win. This game will be played in Lambeau Field. Lambeau Field sums to 71, the 20th prime number. And again, 20 sums to 107. Packers could become 7-10 head to head against Dolphins with a win. This will be a day. This will be a day with 83 date numerology on the Gregorian as well. 83 is the 23rd prime number. 63 and 83 date numerology on the Gregorian. And 83 is the 23rd prime number. Dolphins quarterback, he could become 36-23 for a record regular season with a loss. He would sit on 36 wins. 36 is just a reflection of 63. And then he would get his 23rd loss regular season. 83, the 23rd prime number. Dolphins coach, he was born on 3/6 in the year 83. And that's kind of what his quarterback can become regular season for his career. So you have the 3/6 here, and then you have the 83, which is the 23rd prime number. And that's what Tua could become, 36-23 regular season for his career with a loss. What else? What else we got here? I didn't see a straight connection for a Packers coach getting a 65th win regular season. Nothing really jumps out at me on that one. And then Packers becoming 9-3 like 93. Nothing really jumped out at me on that one as well. So I'm kind of stuck on that a little bit. But there are some other numbers here for the Packers. For one, Dolphins becoming 5-7 for a season record. Dolphins quarterback becoming 36-23 for a record. Jordan Love getting a 16th win regular season. And then the Packers becoming 7-10 head to head against the Dolphins regular season. Now, if we look at home team win-loss records, we can't look at the home team win-loss records just yet, just because it's the third game for the day. And so there's going to be 2 other games prior to that. But if we were to make a guess and just say all the home teams win today on this day, like the Lions win, the Cowboys win, and the Packers win, if that were to happen and all the home teams win, for the home team records for the NFL, the home teams would be coming into this game, or excuse me, the home teams will be coming into this day 92-87. And if the Lions beat the Bears, the home teams would be 93-87 heading into the Cowboys game. And why I think that would be interesting is because, for one, the word Cowboy sums to 87, and the Giants quarterback was born on 8/7. So it would be interesting if the Lions did win and home teams were 92-87 heading into the Cowboys game. And then home team stayed on 87 losses with the Cowboys win and became 94-87 heading into the Dolphins and Packers game. And then Packers would pick up the 95th NFL home team win in Green Bay, Wisconsin, which sums to 95. And it will be Packers coach's 95th regular season game for his career, where he can sit on 30 losses regular season as home teams become 3-0, like 30 for Thanksgiving, with the Lions, Cowboys, and the Packers all winning like 3-0. So that's a little bit more of a projection, assuming that all the other teams win for the day. That 95 would come into play for home teams in Thursday Night Football for the Packers if the Lions and Cowboys also win their games prior to this. But let's go ahead and switch gears now. Let's go ahead and look at the Dolphins. What would it take for the Dolphins to win this game?
Sorry to interrupt this video, you guys, but I need a huge favor from you. Can you go ahead and like this video and leave a comment below on who you think's gonna win? It's gonna help with the YouTube algorithm. It's gonna help grow my channel. I really appreciate you guys being here. Let's go ahead and get back into the video.
Well, let's go right back to the number 57. It will be the 57th day of the Hebrew civil calendar, the 27th day of the second month, like 2/7/2. What's in favor for the Dolphins with this number is that Tua, the quarterback, can get his 37th win regular season for his career on the 272nd day of his current age. 272, 27/2, the Hebrew civil, the 27th day of the second month, the 57th day of the Hebrew civil year. Tua can get his 37th win regular season. Well, if you write out 37, if you spell it correctly, right out 37, it sums to 57. And so it goes two ways for the Dolphins here. Dolphins could either become 5-7 for a season record with the loss, or the Dolphins quarterback can get his 37th win regular season, 37 summoned to 57 on the 272nd day of his age, the 27th day of the second month for the Hebrew civil calendar. So that could play in favor for the Dolphins quarterback potentially. Now, it is the 333rd day of the Gregorian year, a day leaving 33 left, and the Dolphins could become 6-6 for a season record with the win, and 3-3, like 33 on the road for the season with the win. Well, if you write out 66, we find, or excuse me, not 66. If we write out 33, we find that it sums to 66. So it being the 333rd day of the Gregorian, a day leaving 33 left, Dolphins could become 3-3 on the road for the season with the win as they become 6-6. And we know 33 written out sums to 66. Now, this will be the first primetime game of week 13. There will be two games prior to this. Obviously, it'll be the Bears and Lions and Giants and Cowboys. But for the first primetime game of the NFL Week 13, it could be where Jordan Love gets his 13th loss regular season for his career. Packers coach would get his 31st loss regular season for his career, which is just a reflection of 13. 31-13 reflections of each other. But then on top of that, the Packers would get their 11th head-to-head loss against the Dolphins regular season, as Packers coach gets his 31st loss regular season. 31 mathematically is the 11th prime number. And then what else? I didn't see a whole lot for Daniels to get his 26th win regular season. But as I say that, it just clicked for me because we did talk about the number 20. It is a day with 20 date numerology on the Gregorian. And for favor of the Dolphins, the number 20 sums to 26. And the Dolphins coach could become 26-20 for a regular season record in his career with the win on a day with 20 date numerology. And so, yeah, um, that's about what I have for this game. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully this gives you some insight, get you started on a decode, adds to a decode that you may already have. I really appreciate you guys watching. I really appreciate the support. Just to kind of recap really quickly, it will be a day. It will be the 57th day of the Hebrew. Dolphins could become 5-7 for a season record with the loss. Or Tua, the Dolphins, the quarterback, can get his 37th win regular season. 37 written out sums to 57. Jordan Love, he can get his 16th win for his career. 16 written out sums to 33. It is the 333rd day of the Gregorian, a day leaving 33 left. Or Dolphins could become 3-3 on the road with the win, and 6-6 for a season record with the win. 33 written out sums to 66. But at the same time, there is 63 and 83 date numerology on the Gregorian. 83, the 23rd prime number. Dolphins quarterback could become 36-23 for a record with a loss. That's basically the Dolphins coach's birthday, 3/6, born in 83. Tua could be 36-23 because 83 is the 23rd prime number. So, I mean, yeah, there's some decent numbers for either side here. And like I said, watch out for the number 57. It is the 57th day of the Hebrew civil calendar. If Bears win, they become 5-7. That would be a pretty big upset since the Lions are 9.5-point favorites. Actually, that number has come down. I think they opened up at like 11-point favorites, and so that number's kind of gone down. But with it being the 57th day, Bears could become 5-7, Cowboys could become 5-7, Dolphins could become 5-7 with a win and or a loss. depending on which way it flips for them. But look out for that number. If Bears do upset the Lions, I expect the Cowboys to win 5-7, and I expect the Dolphins to lose 5-7. But if the Bears do not upset the Lions, which I don't think it will happen, or it's tough to perceive it happening just because Lions are good and Bears could not beat the Vikings on Sunday at home in overtime. If the Bears do lose and become 4-8, the chances of Cowboys becoming 5-7 with the win and the Dolphins becoming 5-7 with the loss, the chances of those kind of go down a little bit. Not to say that it still won't happen, but it's just not a perfect 3-0, 5-7 on all three games. So just keep that in mind. But happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hopefully, you guys have some good food. I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate the support. Hopefully, you win all the money in the world. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you again. I really appreciate it. Take care.